Hello, and how are you? My name is Winnie Barawa. Welcome to this session on strategic planning in healthcare. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, remember to share, comment. So strategic planning is guided by a few concepts that we can review first before we go into the details. So let's start with the first term, which is strategy. So strategy by definition is a disciplined and methodological way of accomplishing a goal, or simply a method you can use to meet your goal or an idea that you're trying to implement. And from strategy, we get strategic thinking. So strategic thinking, it's a thinking process or a process that is applied in the context of achieving a goal or a set of goals. So strategic thinking is said to involve several processes, and that involves organization, scanning, viewing, and driving forces. We will discuss this in detail later on when we'll be doing a lecture session on strategic thinking. But just appreciating it is that strategic thinking is a process that you apply as a matter of thinking for a purpose of achieving a goal or set of goals. Then strategic planning now is the process of defining a direction and making decisions so that you can allocate resources to attain certain goals. So I want you to note that in each and every definition that we are doing, there's mentioning of goals, meaning each and every purpose that we are trying to achieve is geared towards meeting certain goals or achieving certain either short or long-term goals. And then the other part is strategic management, which is a process that combines evaluation, planning, and implementation with mainly designed to maintain or improve performance. So the agenda of management, as opposed to the other parts of strategy thinking and planning, is to improve or maintain a given performance. Looking forward, we have what we call the strategic results and outcomes. So results and outcomes can be either described as advantageous effects that originate or come from interventions, or rather we can also define them as the highest level of change that can be attributed to an organization or a program. So what you see as the end term result in regards to given activities or intervention is what we call outcomes. And our last concept is the strategic leadership, where we say when managers use their most creative problem-solving skills or vision to help their team or members in an organization. So with leadership, we are looking at who is on the forefront, guiding and giving other people's a way forward on different situations. So with strategic leadership, there is engagement of creative attitude or creative side of the leader that will guide in problem-solving skills and propelling the strategic vision for the particular organization. And so when you're participating in strategic planning, maybe the question that you may ask yourself is, how do we set off the strategic planning process? So we are told there are certain questions you need to ask yourself as you establish the different key aspects of strategic planning. And we are told the first one is being able to know the situation, understanding the momentum, understanding the direction, the action plan, and the target population. So starting with the first question of establishing a situation is asking oneself, where are we now? What is the current situation now? So that you do situation analysis to get to establish the data and the information pertaining the particular area that you want to plan for. Then the second part is, how did we get here? What is the history of this particular situation? What caused it? What contributed it to it? What was intervened before now? So that you can have a clear momentum in terms of cause and effect of what led to the particular judgments. And then the next question now is, where are we going? What is the picture you have in your mind in terms of a vision and a mission that you'll want to achieve through the setting of a strategic plan? So where should we be going? So you have the bigger picture of where you want to go, but where should you specifically now go? Or what specifically should your team focus on going? So this is the desired direction. So how will we get here? That is now where we develop the action plan or implementation plans. And lastly, for whom do we do it? This refers to the target population, or the people that will benefit from the given strategic plan or the given strategic action plan that will be implemented in the given location or given situations. So having understood the concepts, starting with strategy, strategic thinking, strategic planning, strategic leadership, strategic management and outcomes, the next part is the workload of developing a strategic plan. So by definition, a strategic plan is a visionary, conceptual, and directional or tactical implementable guide for an organization. Most of the time, a strategic plan is a document. Just like we saw in our types of healthcare plans, we had the middle term or the medium term plans, what we call the strategic plans. So these ones mostly are planned either for 2 to 5 years. And because of that, a strategic plan, therefore, is a visionary, conceptual, tactical, focused or measurable guide that will be used by an organization, be it to achieve its goals or to achieve its given objectives in a given period of time. So when you're looking at a strategic plan as a document, we're being told that this document must be very flexible and also practical, yet it should serve as a guide for implementation of programs. So for example, if you place in your strategic plan certain activities that will need to be done, then when it comes to the implementation time, you are advised that you stick to what was written in the document as opposed to coming with new activities that were not part of the plan. So strategic plans are said to typically last 3 to 5 years, but in rare cases, some of them can be adjusted to go all the way to 10, 20, or 50 years. Now, remember we discussed earlier on and said the plans that exist for 10 or more than 10 years, we call them the long-term plans. And the long-term plans are commonly known as the policies. But here you're told in rare cases. So I want you to note rare cases. You may extend a strategic plan document to go for 10, 20, or even 50 years. So strategic plan it's a process. It's not one-off activities. You have to follow some process. And I want us to focus on a certain part here that guides the whole process of developing a strategic plan. And that are the vision, mission, and values of an organization. These are the key things that will propel the future and the decisions that will be surrounding a given organization. So we've mentioned that vision, mission, and values are the ones that propel the future of organization. It's therefore very key for us to understand what vision and mission are because they are different words, although most of the time are normally confused or interchangeably used. So a vision is a picture that we have in our mind of the future that we wish to be at. So being a picture of what is in our mind, wishing to act or to bring to reality, let's use the example of Google. So Google, its vision statement says, the vision is to provide access to the world information in one click. That's Google's vision or vision statement. Very short, straightforward, and it brings out a picture of what they want to do in the world. The main vision for them is to provide access to the world information in one click. But let's see what the difference with the mission. Mission describes more of purpose of an organization. In a state where we are saying, what will I do to achieve my vision? So mission most of the time expounds the vision. So mission expounds the vision by giving the how of the organization in regards to achieving its objectives. So in this state, mostly the mission will be quite longer, or the mission statement will be quite longer. So for example, the Google's mission statement says, our mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So as you can see here, Google vision is to provide access to the world information in one click. But the mission is telling us how are they going to do it. So in the mission, they are actually going to achieve this by organizing the world information and make it universally accessible and useful. So I hope you're able to get the difference between vision and mission. Vision is quite short. It's a picture of the final outcome that they want to have, while mission is a bigger picture of the purpose the organization wants to achieve, and it shows to us how and why the organization is existing. And the third part that drives an organization is the values. And values, by definition, are beliefs that are shared among stakeholders in an organization. Or rather, in simple terms, these are commitments that the organization has chosen to stand for. So there are different values that different organizations can stand for, and this can range from integrity, innovation, respect, okay, inclusivity, diversity. All these are possible values that can be upheld in different organizations. Most of the time it's guided by their mission, vision, and also the goals that they want to achieve at the end of their particular implementation periods. And understanding that vision, mission, and values helps in setting up the foundation for most organizations. We therefore have the strategic planning cycle, which now involves the steps that are used in developing a strategic plan. We will come later on and see example of strategic plans or investment plans that different organizations can develop, including the parts, the steps, and how to handle it one by one. But for now, we will just summarize. And the first part is, looking at the forecasting, goal setting, implementing, and monitoring and evaluation. So if you look at the steps, they look similar to the planning cycle that we talked about. If you've not watched that video, we talked about healthcare planning cycle, which had 7 steps. And in all these steps, they kind of get married in this strategic planning cycle. The approach is the same. The explanation is also quite the same. So I will not go into details in each and all this, but if you wish to understand in more details how to go each and every of these steps, kindly refer to our video that we've just posted on the healthcare planning cycle. And so what are the benefits of doing strategic planning? Number one is just to appreciate that it helps us plan for the future, so the organization can focus on what might be on the future coming and prepare for it in advance without being found unprepared. And then the other part is maximizing on available resources, whereby with a plan you can assess or do a situation analysis and be able to establish what is there, what is needed, and what can be improved on. And with planning, you can build continuity in the organization programs, whereby you can already have a sustainability approach as you develop your strategic plan. And the other advantages includes managing diversity. Remember that the world is very diverse right now. There's a lot of development, inputs, and technological advancement that are coming around. Now, with all this diversity coming around, it's good for an organization to cater for that in their strategic plan, where you introduce the what if this and this changes, what will we do? And with strategic plan, you can have proper monitoring and evaluation approaches. And when this is done on time, then you can make needed adjustment without being worried. And lastly, it gives us a chance to navigate complex and very competitive environment. Imagining being a company who sells products that is competing with like 5 other companies doing the same. So with a strategic plan, you can see and come up with an approach, for example, and say, in my competitive environment, what will I do differently? And which tricks and tactics will I put in place to ensure that our competitors do not go ahead of us, both in resources and also in time. And that was it for it, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us to the end. Kindly subscribe, share, and comment. And if you wish to have more content covered with us, you can just share an idea of what to be it on. So thank you so much and see you in our next class.